Quazi here, and in this video, I'm going to share with you expectation, which is one of the biggest law of attraction killers out there and literally is destroying your manifestation abilities. Before I begin this video, I want to quickly announce that I'm doing a free giveaway of my book, Life Mastery. If you're interested, just comment Life Mastery down below to win this book at the end of the week in the ebook format. It's around $12 on Amazon, but you can get this for completely free if you just comment Life Mastery down below. Also, I'm super excited to announce that even though the Reality Mastery program is fully booked out for June, we still have spots available for July, so make sure you sign up for the free consult, the one-to-one consult with me, and wait till the end of the video for the announcement on how to sign up for this consult. So with that, let's get started with this video. Now, in this video, I want to talk to you about the concept of expectation and why you shouldn't have expectation whenever you're expecting a certain result. And now, I know this sounds paradoxical, and you might be wondering, well, Quazi, what's the point of law of attraction if I don't expect a certain result? So this topic was inspired by a very interesting question that I got in the Facebook group, and if you haven't joined that, make sure you click on the link to sign up for the Facebook group. But essentially what this person asked was that, should I not have expectation and insistence to achieve my goals? And, I answered obviously no. And I'm going to explain to you throughout this video why you shouldn't have expectation, really how to get out of that mindset of having expectation and what you should do instead. Now, most of the time when people have expectation, it's not a problem that, that people have expectation. It's what the feeling behind the expectation is. So really learning to look at things for what they are and just breaking them down using, reasoning with first principles was a big game changer for me. If you don't know what that is, it's one of the most powerful law of attraction boosting tools that I use every single day. So click up here to check out the concept of reasoning through first principles as opposed to reasoning through analogy. But essentially, reasoning through first principles is breaking things down to its very core. Reasoning through analogy is giving into what is known as societal pendulums, which just consume your energy and leave you with very little intention energy left to achieve your goals. So make sure you're doing your own thinking and you're not letting someone else do your thinking for you. That's the essence of a pendulum. Now, really going back to this expectation, what you mustn't do is have expectation with an attachment to the outcome. Understanding that key feeling behind expectation, it is just the attachment. And what attachment does is it creates dependency. Now you're reactive to this thing happening or not. Imagine that you are watching stocks. And why I don't like looking at my stocks every 5 minutes and doing short-term day trades is because I tend to get very reactive to these things. And reactive means becoming responsive emotionally. Whenever there's an emotional response, whether you like it or not, an unconscious response, this is a reaction. You ideally do not want to get reactive, you want to get responsive, but consciously responsive, not unconsciously responsive. So reaction is an unconscious emotional response. Response to an event could either be with emotion or without emotion, whatever it is you choose, because now you're consciously doing it. So even when you're investing in stocks, when you see the ups and downs, I personally do not like to invest in stocks and do day trades because I see that I get very emotionally reactive to it, and this affects my decision-making process. And also this affects my manifestation of whatever goals that I want to get out of this, right? So whenever I invest in stocks, I just leave it and I know that it is eventually going to give me a return. And if not, great. If so, fantastic. Whatever it is, I'm good either way. And that is kind of what state you want to get into whenever you have expectation for something. Now, really, let's think about this. So most people, when they have an expectation for a particular result, what they do is they create attachment. And the only way you know that there is attachment behind this expectation is through the emotions it produces from the withdrawal of this. And again, to really understand this concept of, attachment versus complete detachment, click up here. I've made a detailed video explaining this concept and it's very, very important. So I encourage you to check that out before you move forward. But essentially, what that little feeling behind it is and how to notice it is through the emotional reactions that you get after it's been withdrawn. So let's say you've been expecting to get a job offer because the interview went really well and you have very high hopes, and now you have expectation that, you know what, I already got the job, it's in the bag. Now, with this expectation, unfortunately, comes attachment, because now you're attached to the outcome, right? So now you're dependent on the outcome. Your emotional state is dependent on an external circumstance. Whenever you make your own inner state of being dependent on something that's external to you, you're creating massive problems. This is the exact place you do not want to be in. Because when you're doing that, you're letting whatever's going on outside, how you've lived your life up until this point, determine your reality. So essentially, this is how reality is created. That which is within is without. Whenever you feel something and you embody a state of being, reality starts to reflect more and more of that. That is the mirror of reality. The mirror principle of reality is essentially that the mirror of reality reflects your thoughts and your attitudes to this mirror. This is a dual mirror that doesn't distinguish between the image and the reflection. Let's say the reflection is all the material wealth that you want, and the image is the thoughts and the attitudes you present to this mirror. What happens is, because you've been living your life up until this point in a certain way, reality has been reflecting that up until this point. Another principle of the mirror is that it works with a delay. So reality always works with a delay. Whatever goal you want to manifest, unless you have the intention energy of a messiah, it will take some time to manifest because of the material quality of all of this stuff around us, of matter. The gross quality of matter makes material manifestation of all the things that you want a little slow. So you need to keep working with this mirror and keep presenting the right thoughts and attitudes. Whenever you look at reality, it is something that has happened from attitudes that you had in the past. Whether it be consciously or unconsciously or subconsciously, whatever it is, whatever attitude you've had up until this point has created the reality you're experiencing now. If you want to create a better tomorrow, start by cultivating the right thoughts and attitudes right now. So when people look at the external circumstances and then they make their inner state of being dependent on the external circumstances, a crazy thing happens. It's really insane once you think about this, but essentially what's happening is you see the bad things happening and you're like, oh shit, bad things are happening, oh no, bad things happen to me. And now your thoughts and attitudes are negatively oriented to your reaction to whatever you've seen. But the reality and the fact is that whatever's happening right now is all a result of your previous thoughts and attitudes. And so now when you look at that and you let that affect your internal state of being, you're propagating more and more of that previous undesired reality that you were experiencing. So now your thoughts and attitudes don't really change much. This is why when people are unconscious, their lives don't really change that much. Like really, people's lives don't change that much because they keep reacting to whatever they see unconsciously, and then they keep alive all of these thoughts and attitudes that they feel unconsciously. Once you start to become a little bit more and more conscious of your everyday thoughts, your everyday activities, whatever you're doing, whoever you're being, whatever you're thinking about, you become a powerful creator of your reality. This is why consciousness is the single greatest key that unlocks reality creation. So now you might be asking, how does this relate to expectation? So going back to that idea of being dependent on the outcome and being attached to the expectation that you have, when you're trying to get this job and you have this expectation that, oh, you know what, it's in the bag, I've already gotten it. The expectation starts to work against you when you have attachment to the outcome. And you have attachment to the outcome whenever there's a negative reaction to its withdrawal, or there's an emotional reaction to its withdrawal. And what I mean by withdrawal is that for some reason, let's say that even though the interview went perfectly and you feel great and you've put in the right thoughts and attitudes, etc., for some reason, the interviewer decides to go with someone else. And now you feel really shitty. And this is the worst point you can come to. So now what's happening is that this negative event, perceived negative event that has happened in your reality, you're letting it affect your inner state of being. So now for future jobs that you want to manifest, you're saying that it's completely over and your life is over. You're saying, all right, that's it, we're done, nothing more, nothing better can happen, and I'm just going to feel shitty and sulk. This is when expectation starts to work against you, whenever there is attachment behind the expectation. The only solution and the biggest key to this is, number one, having detached expectation. Whenever you're detached in your expectation, it no longer affects your internal state of being. If it happens, great. If not, fantastic, even better. It wasn't right for me in the first place. So the only way to get into this mind state is to use a tool called the advantage method. If you don't know what that is, make sure you click up here and you definitely check that video out, because it is a game changer for manifesting reality. That is more powerful than any other technique or law of attraction principle that you've practiced. Practicing the advantage method and just reframing every single event as though it benefited you. Because how do you know that reality just had to take away this job right now that you were expecting that seemed oh so perfect, so that it can give you something even better? Even though that's not visible to you at this exact moment, you will see once you get that job, and once you keep your conviction and the resoluteness in your decision to have up, that the decision that was made for you, quote unquote, by reality, was actually the right decision, because it aligns with the desires of your heart. Most people are trying to manifest the desires of their ego, not the desires of their heart. Because they see something, they see someone having something, and they're like, oh, look, power, fame, money, yes, I like that. Those aren't really the desires of your heart. Your heart has a different mission. It knows it wants something. It just knows. And what it wants is maybe for some people to experience more life, to contribute great value to others, etc., whatever it is. But it's never focused on egoic goals like, oh, I need to show myself that I'm better than everyone. Because the ego does that because it's afraid. It's afraid of dying out. It's really all a big illusion. So remember that the first key to getting out of this expectation is to have a detached expectation. When you have an attached expectation, what happens is you immediately start to resist that reality. And the withdrawal of that affects your internal state of being. So now you become dependent on that. Whenever you become dependent on something, life will try its best to show you that you don't need it. Like, really think about this. Now, another way this can be more effectively explained is through the concept of excess potentials. And this concept is again from a book called Reality Transurfing by an author called Vadim Zeland. So he's a Russian quantum physicist that turned into an esoteric teacher of all of these metaphysical concepts as a result of epiphanies that he had. So make sure you check the video up here to understand excess potentials. But essentially, whenever you're attached to something and you put too much importance and a disproportionate amount of meaning to anything in your life, what's happening is you put that thing up on a pedestal. And now everything else in your life, the importance level of everything else is down here, but this one is up here. So now life wants to show you that this is not important at all, and it wants to balance out this excess potential and bring it up to here. The only way it does that is by taking the goal further and further away from you. So let's say you have a crush on someone, you put this person up on a pedestal up here. You create a disproportionate value of this person, disproportionate meaning. So now nature starts to take this person further and further away from you so that you don't get this person at all. Now, nature could just bring this person closer to you, and the value difference would still be satisfied. But nature usually takes the path of least resistance, and it does so in manifesting your goals. This is exactly the single most thing that explains why sometimes the path to your goal is paved with unfortunate events and circumstances. Like sometimes bad things happen, but eventually you still get to your goals. Things that sort of move you away from your goals happens first, but then you still get to your goals. You want to make $1 million, but then within the first month you lose $100,000. Second month you lose $200,000. Third month you lose $300,000. But then in the fourth month you make $2 million. And that's how reality sort of works sometimes, because it always takes the path that expends the least energy. And for some reason, making you lose $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 was the path of least energy. You don't really know. So all you do need to know is the second key, which is that you always must maintain the resoluteness in your decision to have. And I cannot emphasize this enough. This is the single most important thing. Whenever you develop a resoluteness in your decision to have something, a powerful thing starts to happen. You activate what is known as outer intention, which is when the whole world conspires to give you what you want. Inner intention is the resoluteness in your decision to act and do something in order to get something. You know, you take action, and you fight against the world, you struggle. Outer intention is just like you just put up the right energy and you stay up here and your goals just come to you. That's what outer intention is. Outer intention is the exact certainty that helped Jesus walk on water. Developing that level of certainty is difficult for most of us because we haven't been accustomed. The mold of our reality haven't been accustomed to accepting these. So that's why we believe that we need to take some sort of action to achieve our goals. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that at some point it breaks down and it just creates more and more friction in your life. So really, to conclude this video, expectation isn't bad. Attached expectation that has too much importance, that raises the level of importance in reality, is what creates resistance. Detached expectation, not unattached, but detached expectation. And if you want to know what the difference between detached and unattachment is, click up here. Make sure you check this video out. Detached expectation is what you need to help you move towards your goals in a more effortless fashion. And detached expectation means that, you know, if a goal manifests, fantastic. If it doesn't manifest right now, maybe it'll manifest later. Who knows? This is just reality's way of saying, I'm taking the path of least resistance to get you to your goals. So just bear with me. Instead of fighting against the flow of nature, go with the flow and let it deliver you to your goals in the simplest path possible. So remember, the two keys are have detached expectation, and also have a resoluteness in your decision to have. Whatever you've decided to have, keep up the resoluteness in your decision to have it. You have an unwavering resoluteness in your decision to have. If you wanted to get a particular job, you're going to get it. You know, maybe it wasn't the right time now. Maybe it won't be the right time tomorrow. Maybe in a month from now, they'll call you back. Maybe you'll get an even better job that's more aligned to whatever your heart's desires are. Whatever it is that you want, you will get it. Just keep up that resoluteness in your decision to have it. With that, I conclude this video, and I sincerely hope this helped. And if you like this kind of content, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and believe it or not, for some reason, you don't get notifications whenever I release a new video, so make sure you hit the bell after you subscribe as well. And also, if you're new to the channel, please leave me a comment so I can welcome you to the channel. And also, I'm growing a massive Facebook group where I share all of this kind of stuff and also interact with you on a personal level. If you're interested in joining the group, make sure you click in the link in the description below, and I hope I see you there. Finally, I'm also super excited to announce that the Reality Mastery Program is open for enrollment. And if you didn't know what the Reality Mastery Program is, it's essentially the most powerful paradigm of manifestation. What I found in my personal life was that whenever I wanted something, the most powerful way I systematically experienced realities that I wanted was through shifting myself at the very core, at the identity level. And I'm helping my clients do this every single day. And so I know it's possible for you as well. So if you're interested in learning more about this, in understanding your current law of attraction practices and how you can implement identity shifting, make sure you click on the link in the description below to sign up for the free one-to-one consult while it's still available. And I hope I see you there. Till next time, peace.